Good morning, Pirate Nation. Coming to you here this morning with some announcements, some updates, and some reminders. First, this is the end of our distance learning plan. This Thursday is our last day of school. And with that being said, in terms of this week, our educators expect from you to finish the second semester exam, which is essentially just a reflection of learning, what you've taken away and reflected upon, not just with this distance learning experience, but just overall. What lessons have you learned? And that's what we're here for. Teaching is for learning, and we want to check for learning. We want to ensure learning. And that's what that exam will be this week. Other than that, this is just an opportunity this week to catch up on any missing learning opportunities or responsibilities. But there will be no additional assignments or responsibilities added this week. I ask our parents and our students to be very patient with our educators in regards to the grading and what they're seeing in PowerSchool. The reason being is this whole credit, no credit platform is very different for us, and it shows up in PowerSchool in some very unique ways. So just please be patient. And if I could break that down for you into layman's terms, if your child has been giving his or her personal best, has been communicating with his or her educators and responding to the educators' calls, texts, and emails, that student has nothing to worry about. We understand that everybody's circumstance is different during this unprecedented time, but as long as your child is giving his or her personal best based on his or her circumstance, they have nothing to worry about. However, on the other side of that coin, if your student has not been giving his or her personal best based on the circumstance and has not been responding to calls, texts, or emails from our educators here, there might be some things to worry about. But we're going to be graceful with that. We continue to put compassion ahead of compliance and grace ahead of grades. But we really do need our students to respond. So if your child is in that boat, we ask that you nudge, you come alongside, and you encourage your student to give his or her personal best. Speaking of credit or no credit, I think this may encourage or maybe inspire some of our students. You know, we get requests here year-round for transcripts. We've had graduates and alumni all the way back into the early 70s request their transcripts because they stay in our CA60 room for years upon years, decades. It would be unfortunate for one of our recent grads, or especially this year's students, to request their transcript years down the road and to have to turn that into a college admissions office or to a prospective employer or to a military branch, and then for that person that they're turning it into to see NC, no credit, memorialized on that transcript for eternity. That's not something anybody wants to see. It'll draw red flags, and we don't want to set our kids up for that. So please do everything within your power to ensure that you're getting, or your child's getting, credit this semester. Also within the school messenger email, you'll see a survey. Please take that very brief survey. It's only, I think, 7 questions. It'll help us change our best, not only with distance learning, in the case that we have to go back to it next school year, but just with our culture, our vision, and our educational leadership overall. So please take that survey to help us change our best. You'll see an email coming forth from Mrs. Johnston regarding Chromebook turn-in. We're also going to use those days next week to turn in textbooks, novels, and other school property. So please make sure your student or you come up here on those days that Mrs. J describes to turn in Chromebooks and other school property. So be on the lookout for that email. Commencements, we're digging into the details, the minutia of it, so be on the lookout for more details regarding our July 15th commencement date. Prom, we're still working on that with Mrs. McGee and Mrs. Aldrich, so we have not given up on that, but of course we're at the mercy of the most recent executive order and health guidelines, but please be on the lookout for further developments with prom. And then finally, much like last week, I used School Messenger to celebrate the champion legacy of Coach Rademacher. I'll use this video school message to celebrate Coach Luke Pohl and his 40 years of mentoring of our community's youth. I just want to personally thank him for not only mentoring me, but mentoring so many of our student athletes through the years via his exemplar of mental toughness, commitment, and authentic character. So thank you very much, Coach. To everyone else, I hope you have a blessed day. Let's run the race as to win the prize. Finish strong. Onward, Pirates!